Okay, good day everyone. My name is Christian Barbosa, a software developer, and today we're going to tackle about the advanced email automation in Zoho Campaigns. So, advanced email automations help businesses send the right message to the right audience at the right time without manual effort. So, using automation features, marketers can respond to subscribers' actions, nurture leads through scheduled email sequences, and celebrate customer milestone and efficiently manage or reuse workflows. So this improves engagement, saves time, and ensure consistent communication with the subscribers. So to begin with our session, let's begin with uh, the process of how to trigger email based on the subscriber behavior. So in Zoho Campaigns, to do that, all we need to do is to navigate here on the left side of our screen. We're gonna see here a couple of tabs present here in our Zoho Campaigns. To do that, all we need to do is to navigate to the automation. Okay, so we're gonna see here sample automations that we did, or there's already been an automation associated with this account. So to trigger email based on subscriber behavior, all we need to do is to create a new workflow. And here, as we can see, we already have here a predefined templates or workflow templates depending on our use case. But in our case, we're going to demonstrate it from scratch. So let's create custom workflow. We're going to name this workflow as email based on behavior. So let's name it as email based on behavior workflow. So let's create this workflow, and here, as we can see, we already have here our trigger. For example, you want to have a trigger for specific actions that the user did to our email. In our case, we have here email action. So let's put it here. So here in email action, we're gonna identify the behavior of the contacts that we sent this email. So for example, if this email, we're gonna select email here. For example, this new campaign, and we're going to select the response. For example, it has been delivered or it is opened. So in this scenario, our trigger will be if the selected email that we choose here, for example, in our case is the new campaign, and if the behavior or the selected response is open, then it will automatically, this trigger will execute. So let's just click on this trigger, and then let's add here a process. Just click on actions or process, but in our case, let's add here actions. So here, just add here send email. So you're gonna choose here email. Okay, so when I configure a couple of fields here to send or to make this workflow works. So just keep on doing this one. For example, let's make this a test for now, and the pre-header we're gonna have here test. Okay, so for this demonstration, I'm going to make it quick. So for the sender, we're gonna name it as, for example, it's Chan, or use sender email address or reply to address email. So just click on save, and here we're going to create the content. For example, we're gonna use the save templates. So we're gonna use this template for now for this demonstration. So okay, let's click on proceed, and after that, it's already been associated here. You can review it to your canvas, and that's it. You successfully created an email based on behavior. So basically, what this workflow does is, when an email action, which is our trigger, will be open, automatically this workflow will be triggered, and it will send another email to that specific contacts containing this specific content. So that's how you create an email based on subscriber behavior. So going on to the next, which is all about how to set up drip campaigns for lead nurturing. So in this case, all we need to do is to go to the automation. So here in the automation, we will create here another workflow. So for those who don't know, a drip campaign is an automated series of emails sent to subscriber over a set period of time. So each email is scheduled based on timing or user actions. So it also helps nurture leads, educate prospects, and guide them through the customer journey without manual sending. So to do that, all we need to do is to create another workflow for that. So here, as we can see, we already have here a couple of predefined workflow. You can use that for follow-up. For example, we're going to have here simple follow-up series. Since we're nurturing, we can just use this template and edit its content. So for sample this one, and we have here the trigger on form submission, and here, okay, so we have here a couple of already predefined process. In this case, once it is on form submission, it will send an email address, I mean an email message, and then after 2 hours, you can select here, modify it to days. After 2 days, let's say between 9 to 3 p.m., it will send a follow-up email, which is this one. But let's click on this one, and then let's send a follow-up email, for example, before it pushed to the CRM. So to do that, let's click on here, select on the message. Okay, so this trigger. Okay, so we're going to select a form for the trigger. For example, we want to trigger this workflow to any sign up form. Let's click on it, and it's already here. So the sequence for this is, once the form is submitted, it will send an email to that specific contact, and it will wait for 2 days for an additional email, and then it will be pushed to our Zoho CRM. Okay, so that's one example of how you nurture leads based on your scheduled email campaign. So in this case, we scheduled our email campaign that after submission of the form, it will send an email, and then after 2 days, we scheduled another email before it pushed to the CRM. So it is somehow very useful when a new contact subscribers to mailing list, or they automatically enter a drip campaign. The workflow sends a welcome email immediately, for example, or a product introduction after 3 days. You can configure this one depending on your business needs. Okay, so going on to the next next process that we're going to tackle about, which is all about how to automate birthday or anniversary emails. Okay, so to do that, all we need to do here again in our automation, we need to create a workflow. So let's do it. So let's create a custom workflow. Let's name it as a bday notif notification. Okay, so let's create this one. So here, our trigger will be a date field. So let's take note that you cannot have birthday or anniversary emails if you do not have birthday field. So be sure to add it in your Zoho Campaigns fields. So in our case, we have here date birthday field naman. So okay, so we can just drag here date field trigger. So here we have here date field trigger, and then we're going to select the date wherein this workflow will be executed. In our case, we're going to use a custom date field So we're going to select here the birthday. As I said a while ago that we already have here the birthday field. So we're going to use this one as our trigger. So we're gonna send here annual event. So meaning to say that this workflow will recur annually on the selected date, which is the birthday field. So it will automatically send email based on this chosen field that we set here. So to do that, we're gonna check this one to make it as annually, so we don't need to manually send this one to other. So the next thing we are going to do is to specify a defined time to contacts to enter the workflow. So in this case, we're going to select here allow contacts to enter any time during the scheduled date. Okay, so here it's already been here set here, and then we're going to have here an option if you want to allow contacts entry before selected date, or we're going to set a criteria to enter the workflows. But in our case, let's leave it as this one. So we're going to apply this one, and then we're going to send an email. So here we're going to create a message. So we're going to configure a couple of information again. For example, this one. So in topic, we're going to hear the subject, which is happy birthday. And then the per header, let's make this HPD. And then you can click on save. And after that, we're going to add here the sender. For example, in our case, we're going to send same sender for all. So let's name it as Chan. And then let's have here save. Okay, so let's save this one. And after that, we're going to select our content for this email. Since it's a birthday greetings email, so we're going to select a birthday related template. So let's click on the predefined template, and we're going to choose here best template to associate with this event. For example, it's a birthday, so we're gonna choose, for example, here we already have here the birthday template, so let's choose this one as our template of choice. So after that, here we already have here this email template, so let's don't make any changes with it, and let's click on proceed. So after that, it's already been set here, so we already done a couple of configurations here, and all we need to do is to check on it in the workflow. So here we already have here supply here the email, the sender, and recipient. So basically this workflow will trigger based on the custom field that we set, which is the birthday field that we set here in our trigger, and it will automatically send email which is based on the content that we provided. So that's how you set B-Day notification or anniversary emails in Zoho Campaigns. So going on to the next one, which is all about how to pause and resume email workflow. So basically in this scenario, in pausing or resume email workflows, all we need to do, for example, if we have here an active workflow, in our case this one, in automation navigation again, so we're gonna test it. For example, we have here this active workflow. To freeze this one, all we need to do is to click on this workflow and click on the freeze. Once we click on the freeze, it will have this warning dialog box here in the upper part of our screen. We can just click on freeze to pause this workflow. So meaning to say that this workflow is currently on pause. Now, if you want to resume this workflow, all you need to do is to click on this button located at the top part of your screen. You're gonna see here the resume button. So just click on it, and your workflow is now active again. So that's how you pause your email workflow. And now, if you want to clone this or use this existing workflow, Going on to our last topic, which is how to clone and reuse existing workflow. All we need to do is here in our workflow, as under the automation navigation, if we want to clone this workflow, for example, this test workflow, all we need to do is to click on this workflow and then click on this more drop down here in the top upper right part of our screen. We're gonna see here drop down more options, so we're gonna click on clone. So if in our case, if we want, gonna have here the pop-up navigation again. So here, as we can see, we can observe here that's already create a copy of the test workflow. So we can rename it as the copy, for example, copy of test workflow. And then we're gonna click on the save. And for example, you want to clone that workflow because you want to add some another email, for example, in our case this one, because you feel that that workflow is somehow incomplete, or if you feel that it's not the it doesn't follow the business requirements or the business email campaign that you are making of, so you can just clone that workflow and add additional processes or email or actions depending on your business requirements, and then you can activate this workflow. Alright, so here the message, I guess it's incomplete, so we're gonna choose in the message. So okay, so yeah, let's click here. Okay, so let's use this one for now. And then here, yeah, click on proceed. We're gonna set up this message first. Topic, let's make it marketing. Save this one. Subject, let's make this as clone test workflow. And then here, let's make us a header. And after that, we can go to our canvas and activate this workflow. Okay, so we have here an additional. Alright, so just click on it, open. Alright, so I guess it's okay, so here in our canvas, and after that you can just activate this workflow, and then it will automatically trigger depending on the set trigger that we configure here in our Zoho Campaigns, in our Zoho Campaign workflow. So that's it. That's how you reuse workflow, and I use it for another automations.